Hi, I'm Kerry. I'm the host of Best of Us Investors. I'm doing a live stream this afternoon. It will have already been aired or done when this video comes out, but you might be able to find a copy of it. The fact is, what I realized is, as I looked at the presenters in the financial field within YouTube, that I think I'm the only one who actually has experienced both the dot-com bubble, the subprime crisis, the 1998 pullback, and then the corona crisis. I think I'm the only one who has experienced those things. I think I'm also the only one who has worked in the financial planning industry for over 20 years. And I think I'm the only one that has a CFP, a CHSC, and a CLU. So I felt it was my obligation to share my experiences. And what really drove me to this was I was watching a new series that I found called Stranger Things. You may have found it a long time ago. And it keeps presenting the question to me, what's going to happen next? This is crazy. What's going to happen next? And I just finished the first series of it, and Nita asked me, well, how many more are there? And I said, well, I think there's about 15 more episodes. What's going to happen next? Well, that's probably how most of you who have not experienced a crash, a correction, an adjustment, a depression, a recession in the stock market are thinking, what's going to happen next? Because you haven't had the experience. I've had the experience. I know what it is. I know what's going to happen. And I've position myself accordingly. And that's what I want to do in this video, is kind of give you some insight as to what I know is going to happen and maybe make you feel a little bit better about your current position in the stock market. Because I think it's so important that you stay with this. This is how you get wealthy. This is how you take yourself from the guy who works 9 to 5 and sits on the lazy boy and drinks beer all night to the guy who has the ability to do whatever he wants to do, or gal, in the future, because you recognize there are people who are smarter than you, who are more industrious than you, and they can build companies that can generate massive amounts of money, and you can share in it. And that's what I'm all about. I'm a long-term investor, and I want to help you find your way to where I'm at. I'm not a financial advisor anymore. I gave that up in 2005 when I sold my business and basically traveled the world until 2019 when I decided I needed something better to do.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
Today's stock market, what's going to happen next? Well, we know that inflation was caused by $9 trillion pumped into the stock market. That's roughly 40% of the money supply that existed before March of 2020. And that created inflation. When you've got more money, more demand, and it created exuberant prices on stocks because money flows downhill, goes through your hands, goes through other people's hands, ends up in somebody's hands who wants to invest it. And then on top of that, you had what was it, $1,200 checks showing up and people sequestered inside their home and quarantined, and they say, hey, I think I'll give a go of the stock market. I'm going to buy some Bitcoin and Tesla and ride these things to the wealthy heavens. And that's what happened. But that isn't the way things work. When you have an overflow of money, and then you also have a shortage of supply because factories were shut down, and so you had people bidding up prices for a limited supply. You created inflation. Now, what the government did to squelch that inflation, to get you to think, well, maybe I don't want to buy that after all, is to raise interest rates so the cost of borrowing is higher to feed your needs or your desires. So that created higher interest rates, which then is going to be felt in the fact that zombie companies that have no profits, have no earnings, they're just existing on borrowed money, will go bankrupt. And so that's part of where we're headed right now. On the other hand, we have record employment. Everybody has a job, and I read something that 60% of the people have said they anticipate changing their job within the next 6 months. And that is because there is a demand for talent, and there is a demand for new innovative talent. And then also people can work from home from what they have learned while they were sitting at home from the pandemic. And then they have, in essence, what I call, they have entered the digital economy. It started in 1989, and as we move through it, more and more people found a place in the digital economy, and so now they can live anywhere and everywhere they want to. So the question is, what happens next, Carrie? What happens next is what has always happened next. You can look at this chart here from Trading Views, and you can see that we've gone through this before. And since 2019, we pumped so much cash into there that has to be corrected. You saw the correction of overexuberance in the dot-com bubble. You saw the correction in the overexuberance relative to real estate in 2008, and now you're seeing it again here today. But the following is always the same, and that is innovation comes in, corrects the problem, corrects the supply chain. Part of that's going to be done by deglobalization. Hell, we cannot depend on other countries on the other side of the big pond to supply us with the things that we have to have in order to survive. We can't do that anymore. It was a mistake. We learned from that mistake, and we will correct that mistake, and that mistake will be corrected through innovation, moving manufacturing back to the United States, using 3D printing, using robotics to overcome the price differential in labor that we were sucked into in China and India and Vietnam. We must bring that back. That will take time. But also innovation in our healthcare field. This all happened. All of this happened because of what happened in March of 2020, and that is the coronavirus. It changed the world we live in. And as a result of that, our world will change. First of all, understand deglobalization must happen. We must not be as dependent as we have been on China, India, and Vietnam as we have in the past. And that will have consequences that I have covered in numerous videos. China's going down, okay? Beyond that, then that will create the supply chain, correct the supply chain problem. The other issue is that of healthcare. We had millions of people die because of a virus that came out of Wuhan, China. We think it was from bats, and it beat heart disease and cancer in the last 2 years in the number of deaths. So that has to stop. And as a result of finding the vaccine and using genome sequencing and genome editing, we now know how to change our healthcare system to a health cure system. We know now, and I did a video on Oracle, how to bring the data that is about each and every one of our health and use it to help other people find solutions to their health care problems. So the world is changing. All you need to know is we just need to get through this. How long will it take? I think we still have a bit on the downside. I am expecting, particularly as earnings come out for this quarter, and that will be the end of this month, we're going to see a dip, another dive. What you need to watch is the volume of the trading. When you see a peak in the volume that we have flushed the toilet and all the sissies are out, that is when the market will turn around. That is when our focus will move away from inflation and interest rates and employment rates, and we will once again move towards a higher price of all stock. But what you want to be doing now is buying at this low end. This is, again, I have shown you these charts on buying Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google through the downturn of the market, whether it was in 2000, the dot-com bubble, or 2008, they all took beatings, but they've all come back and have still given you, from IPO to today, an average of about a 36% annualized return. You can't beat that. So it's a stock picker's market. I want to help you pick the right stocks. As I said, focus on innovation, artificial intelligence, blockchain, big data, 40 years of data. 40 years of your data is now going to be sorted and categorized and implemented to make our lives better. And that is going to be the biggest change that you're going to see. Then shortly after that, you're going to see the metaverse, you're going to see autonomous automobiles, and you're going to see online learning. If you really want a picture of what the world is going to look like in the next 5 years, read this book. You'll find a link to it in my description. And it's The Future is Faster Than You Think. And it's by Peter Dionymus and Stephen Kotler. This is a window into the next world. It reminds me of the TV show The Jeffersons. The Jeffersons, we haven't quite reached everything there, but it's on the slate. The other thing I'm excited about is the innovation that has come into my world relative to my stock investing. I found Moo not quite a month ago. As I sit here now and I watch the stock market, I can pull it up on my phone. I was in a doctor's office last week, and I can see that on my watch list, everything is down right now. Here's DNA, it's down 6%. Here's Plug, it's down 7.8%. Here's Luminar, it's down 10%. Amazon down 2.5%. Microsoft down 1%. This is all on my Moo mobile application. I do not have this on my other two brokerage accounts. I do not have it at E-Trade or Schwab. This is innovation. This is technology. Now, it's owned by a Chinese company, Futo, I think it is called, but it is insured the same way as my E-Trade account is, for up to $500,000 worth of securities and $250,000 worth of cash. So I see this as innovation. I cannot live without it. Now, the beautiful thing about it is they want your business, and they're willing to pay for your business. If you'll open an account with Moo, and there's a description, you'll get up to 10 stocks in the next 30 days. And that is based upon how much you put in and what activity you proceed with it. Read the description. Bob in upstate New York said, Carrie, are you confident that this is safe? Yes, I am, Bob. I have said I don't want to touch China, but I can't pass up on this innovation. All right. What's going to happen next? The market's going to recover, and you're going to be fine. If you're young, open up a Roth IRA, put $6,000 in it. I've shown you here. Look at the chart I just showed you the other day. You'll be a multimillionaire, and if you get aggressive and you pick some of the right stocks, you'll be a billionaire. So that's my take on where we're at and what's going to happen now. And I hope you maintain the confidence. If you're needing some help, join our tribe. Just go down to the Best of Us Investors and find the link, or go into the description and find the link. It's called our Discord, and look at it. See if we can't help you make this an easier road to wealth. Talk to you again tomorrow.